If you are enjoying the story so far and need more Dungeons and Dragons in your life, I invite you to check out another group called the Long Past Podcast. They are working their way through heroism and tragedy in the events of the Chragan War. Their name and link are in the description below.
Day 59. Sure, we were safe among friends in the night. No blazing heat. Some light from the full moon. How could anything possibly go wrong? Well, aside from my best friend trying to maul me to death, and dealing with an orc horde surrounding us, and a cyclops with a pack of hunting tentacled panthers, it was a pretty normal night. In my opinion, being transformed into a giant ape would have been more helpful than running away from an elf-wolf blending. I should have seen it before. There has been something wrong about Varin over the last several days, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Why didn't I check his arm before? Cursed with mummy rot, several limbs destroyed, cursed with elemental creatures, and now this. I feel guilty for Varin's suffering since leaving home, and I know we should find a way to help him with this. But it seems that only magic was able to hurt him. If so, it would give him a great advantage in our future battles, though a difficult path looms before us. And it would seem that not all the dangers are our hobgoblin enemies. Still, I want to explore the temple before we move on. There may be answers to unsolved questions. The curiosity is really getting to me. I'll inform the group when they awake in the morning. In the meantime, I wonder how to clean the slobber out of my tunic.
Now let's get into it. Welcome back to the land of the hunter. It has been a long night. Thía, you have harvested quite a good haul of hide, leather, sinews, bones, and tendons from the Chimera. With the scales, teeth, claws, and hooves, you feel fairly certain that you can provide Altanoroth of the Holgath tribe, as you recall the armorer, enough materials to craft more than just one suit of armor. The Chimera's various organs, which you also harvested, can be ground up and mixed to actually at this point, please roll me 1d4 plus your wisdom modifier, which I believe is a 3. Nope, it's a 1. So 1d4 plus 1. Alright, so that is, if I can get my screen to work correctly here. That is enough for you to make your choice of the following items: Alchemist's Fire, Potion of Fire Breathing, or Potion of Fire Resistance. One of those, the Alchemist's Fire, is non-magical, so you would be able to use it with your fast hands. You can make, it will take all four of us working together about 2.5 days, per bottle. As a side note, if we're working on a potion, then we won't have enough time to work on scrolls. Sorry, Adran. I double checked with all 4 of us working together. It'll take us the same amount of time for the potion of fire and the same amount of time for the potion of fire resistance. Since neither of us have any skill in alchemist tools, each day of crafting will require 8 hours total. They don't have to be consecutive, and a nature check in order to progress. A failure will represent no progress completed. Sound good? Adran says it's good. And a yep from Thía. Thank you. Now, I double-checked the rules of resting for Varin's situation, as he has not had the benefits of a long rest, thanks to constantly being knocked out throughout the night. Thank you, both of you. That's when I learned I've been running long rests wrong this entire game. During a long rest, you can recover spent hit dice only up to half your current maximum. So as we're level 12, if we spend 7 hit dice throughout the day on short rests, we can only recover 6 on that day's long rest. So that's how we will continue playing from this point. In the meantime, Varin has to start rolling some hit dice to recover his hit points, and he has not recovered any spell slots. So let me quickly take care of that since I'm at 1 hit point. And eventually it'll actually roll. Yeah, 12 levels of gameplay, and that's when I finally learned I've been running one of the rules wrong the entire time. Go figure. Indeed. And my screen hit a lag, so give me 1 second here. I'll just have to edit some of this out later. Finally it rolls. So that's a whopping 3 hit points. Wonderful. Wait, who rolled a d20? Was that you, Adran? Okay, I recovered 9. So I have 10 hit points now. Good job, sir. Oh, that's 10, so now I have 20. Oh boy. This bodes well. So if I spend any more hit dice after this, on my next long rest, I'll only be able to recover 6. But I'm pretty badly hurt. And this does not bode well for Varin. I'm rolling every single hit dice I have. And I've recovered 70 hit points. Or 69. I've recovered a total of 69 hit points. So I now have 70 out of my normal 101. So at least I'm no longer bloodied. At least there's that. Alright. We are currently about 30 minutes away from the Holgath War Tribe. And about an hour or 3 miles away from the temple. It is 6 in the morning as Varin finally casts non-detection, expending a spell slot for that, and some diamond dust. Where was I? In order to prevent anyone from scrying on us. Yes, we experienced no flooding. But Varin does not look rested at all. To note, we whether we have been scryed or not is unknown. While we wait for a couple of hours, we can work on either one potion or one spell scroll. Any particular choice from you? Spell scroll or one of the potions listed? Remember, you have enough for two potions. As far as you know, there's no expiration date, if that makes sense. Okay. As Thía asks Adran, what would you like to do? What items do you want to make? And I do apologize, Adran, that your throat is sore.
Sorry, for some reason my spacebar is stuck.
How rude.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to fix that later. So.
All right.
I will just constantly be turning on and off my microphone to keep from coughing further. So, I would think let's do a spell scroll.
All right. So we can start a spell scroll. It'll take about, let's see. What spell scroll would you like to make?
Do we have enough ingredients to make fairy dust?
No. You would actually need fairy dust. You can't make fairy dust. Or do you mean you would like to make a spell scroll fly?
Or yeah, actually fly would be.
Unfortunately, none of us have access to that spell currently.
So it would just be a spell scroll of a certain spell that we have access to.
Correct.
Okay, hang on a second.
And when you start making it, you're going to have to spend a spell slot. Just, keep that in mind. And while you're considering that, Dell is actually going to, now that we're all awake, let's see. Once I get it up, he's going to start using his Staff of Healing to help Varin out some. Because the Staff of Healing is fully recharged.
Well, let's see if I can put on that spell scroll some Scorching Rays.
Okay, that would be of 2nd level, yes?
Yeah, I believe that's 2nd level.
Okay.
Does it only work with 1st level?
No, you can use whatever spell you want to use that you have access to. So that will count as an uncommon consumable magic item. So it's going to take 20 hours with all of us working together. Okay, so you can spend, let's say, 2 hours working on it right now.
Sure.
While we wait to make sure that, no one's actually listening in on us.
Yep.
for looking in on us. Alright, and Dell is going to use his Staff of Healing to cast Cure Wounds on Varin.
I have used one spell slot for that spell scroll.
And it should be of 2nd level.
Yep.
Okay. He's going to cast it at 4th level. 4d8 plus 4. So Varin recovers 25 hit points. Bringing him up to 95, which is significantly better. That's going to take 4 charges from the Staff of Healing. There we go. Alright, so after about 2 hours, so it's now 8 in the morning, and we feel fairly certain that no one's going to be working on scrying us. Adran, there's a sound in your mind reminiscent of a soft silver chime, and it's followed after a moment by Oven's voice, the caster in the Holgath War tribe. I trust it was acceptable. We used your cart and mules to help in the flooding. I suppose you set out early to the temple. You can send a reply back to him in your mind of up to 25 words. No one else knows that this is happening. And if you need me to send a message in text, I can. Or in chat, excuse me. That is okay with us. Oh yes, in regard to the cart and mules. Are you and you're confirming is yeah. Are you also going to confirm to him that we set out early to the temple? Which is relatively true. Okay. Very good. He does not send a reply back to you yet. It is a fairly normal temperature day, about 80 degrees out here in the desert. There is no wind, no rain. And Adran, it seems that you are wanting to visit the temple. Does that sound accurate, sir? Indeed. Okie dokie. Alright. It is an hour away. So we arrive, excuse me, 9 in the morning now. Varin is bleary-eyed, a little busted around and hit over the head appearance, but altogether, capable. As we draw near to the temple, Adran, if you'd like, you can compare the positioning of the temple to that ancient map we recovered from that tomb. If you would like to do so, please give me an investigation check. Doesn't look like there's any familiar landmarks to estimate from, aside from the temple. Nothing to triangulate against. You might have better luck coming out of the temple. Unfortunate, sir. So let me move you all to the new map. Once it finishes loading, then I will worry about getting your tokens on. Oh, getting our tokens on, really. Hopefully your voices will be able to join us shortly. So our mules and our bone cart are back at the camp with the Holgath tribe. I just realized that it's on the wrong light setting. Okay, here we go. This rather tall structure looms between two dunes that come up close to its sides without actually touching the paving stones. In height, it looks to be rise just to right about the same height, maybe a few inches above the height of the dunes to either side. The construction of this temple is stone and metal. It is eerily silent. A soft wind rustles the sand about us, and this place just hovers, quiet, solemn, and imposing. Dell leans over towards you, Adran, and kind of whispers in a subdued awe, "Are we sure this is safe?" No tumbleweeds, no. And I'm glad that your spacebar is working. You recall that last time we were in one of these temples, Dell was not with us. He had been taken to the camp for his own safety's sake. Varin wipes some sand off of himself, and pulls out his sling. Varin still has no memory of what occurred the previous night, but he's not able to deny the fact that his boot prints are nowhere to be found in the battlefield, but rather some clawed prints that lead basically to where he was knocked unconscious and slept for the rest of the night. I just noticed that my health. How are you feeling, Varin? Says Adran. Varin just glares back. I feel like I'm about as weak as you are. Because I just noticed that my health currently is at the same level as yours, sir. Do you approach the temple doors, Adran? And as a side note, do you have your shield on your arm? Very good. In that case, you step to the door, and you can go ahead and move your token, I believe, yes? Alright, go ahead and position yourself at the door. The door is shut and will not open to your push. There is a curious looking knob on the door. The knob has 8 points. There are, to its sides, 4 dark squares, 2 on either side, and surrounding it are the symbols of the different schools of magic.
I was really hoping that I could just speak friend and enter.
Apparently, this does not respond to vocal commands. And by the way, Thía, you, Dell, and Varin are all able to see the symbols as well. In the various sealed doors we have encountered in this world, no, I don't think a voice command has ever worked. What would you like to do, Adran? You can actually put that back where you grabbed it. Nope, put them both back. Yep. You can grab the knob, not the actual depiction on screen. But Dad, When you grab the knob, you can feel a tingle of magic in the handle. You can twist it from side to side. Turning it rather, excuse me. Do you wish to turn it? Alright. Which way do you turn it? Right? Left? Okay, you turn it a little ways so that the point at the top goes to the point of the top left corner, and you feel and hear a click, and then it seems to settle into place. Would you like to turn it again? And if so, which way? You don't want to turn it. What about that symbol, sir? Oh, I just noticed that you're turning the actual symbol of the School of Magic. You're turning this symbol, the center knob. You're going to turn it upside down. Okay, let me clarify a little. The symbol in the center, the blue handle, that is what you are turning, not the symbols of the School of Magic. Okay, did you hear what I last said, sir? Okay, you're not turning the symbols of the Schools of Magic, you're turning the center blue handle. You've turned it one click to the left. Okay. So you reach out, you grab the center handle, you've turned it one click to the left. So you grabbed it, you twisted it to the left, and hang on. This point is now this point. You feel like you can turn it left or right.
Well, basically, I just want to take the symbols and put them in the little black squares.
I know you can actually move them because I've made them possible to be moved, but they're not something that's supposed to be moved yet.
Ah. I still don't know exactly what to do now.
You can give me an intelligence check. As you attempt to analyze this confusion behind you, or before you. Nice. So you've turned it one to the left. Possibly turning it different directions might have something to do with unlocking it. So you want to turn a total of 5 notches to the left? Okay. You turn it 5 notches to the left, and you feel kind of like how do I put it? the sensation of tension in the knob, almost like it's pressing against something. So you've turned it to here. Now 3, 1, 2, 3 here. Nothing yet happens. But you could possibly turn it further. So you're all the way over here now. You still feel like there's no similar tension. Like there's still some room to go. To here? You can feel tension building. Not quite there. You can give me a perception check. You can feel a slight increase in tension, not quite enough. There is an immediate cessation of pressure, as though you're drawing back. Or pressure, tension, excuse me. Almost like you're relieving it of the tension.
Is there any way I can pull the knob?
No.
So I can't pull it or push it?
Not, seemingly not. What are Thía's thoughts while Adran's twisting the knob left and then right? You mean to here, sir? Oh, you meant one left. Okay, my bad. So here. It still feels like tension is relieving rather than building. Thía, you can give me an insight check. Wow. You consider the idea of the date of someone's birth, but that wouldn't make much sense. That if that's what it is, then who knows what birth date. But you do feel like you might be on the right track. There has to be something about numbers, and numbers in relation to the magic symbols. And Adran, you would recall that as you turned it to the left before, when you turned it all the way to the left 5 clicks, you could feel a definite tension. A feeling of like very solid pressure. Nothing happens. Except for further easing of tension. The tension starts building again, the more you turn it. Are there numbers associated with the schools of magic? Thía wonders. The tension builds slightly more. I misunderstood your original message, and I think I moved it the correct direction anyways. Okay, there is still more tension. You turn it one more click to the right, and there's a tingle in your fingertips of magic. And... sorry, hang on. The symbol of the School of Enchantment fills the first square on the left. Adran, you can give me an investigation check. And Thía, you can also give me an insight check. It doesn't make much sense to you, Thía, especially being unfamiliar with magic. Adran, the 5th letter in the alphabet is E. I think you're deep in thought, sir. The 5th letter in the alphabet is E. The 14th letter is N. There are only 4 slots, and it took 2 numbers to fill in the first slot with a symbol of the School of Magic. confused. Okay. Look at the School of Magic, the symbol that filled in the square. Enchantment. What are the first two letters of enchantment? E is the 5th letter of the alphabet, and N is the 14th. You turned the knob a total of 5 clicks to the left, and then a total of 14 clicks to the right. And that's when the symbol of the School of Enchantment filled that first square. Fourteen clicks to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on. Just as you turn it 4 clicks to the left, you feel another buzzing tension in the knob. Another gathering of magical forces. Again, that sensation of tension building before release. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes? Again, you feel a gathering of magical tension. Okay, not sure what just happened there. Oh, yeah, that works. There we go. And the symbol of the School of Divination fills the second square. One click left. Thía has a thought, apparently. Maybe it's the locksmith's favorite schools, she murmurs to you, Adran, as you try and count in your head and turn the knob, clicking. You turn it one click to the left. You can give me a perception check. I mean, there's some gathering magical tension, but no, not much. I mean, it's gathering. Hopefully this makes it a little easier for me to grab. There we go. Gathering still. Not quite to full tension yet. 20 clicks to the right. And you can give me a perception check as you do this. You feel the magic gathering, almost like that tension right before the casting of a spell, just as you reach right at this point. A total of 9 left clicks. Agent starts counting in his head, Varin sighing with annoyance in the back.
I wish that were true. 2-year-old won't go to bed.
Oh dear. In case you missed it, you've turned it a total of 9 clicks to the left before you felt that tension building to its, for lack of a better word, kind of its apex.
So it's not evocation that I was thinking it was going for.
And Thía supplies that you've turned it into the letter I, numerically.
Well, let's see. I turned it left for about 5 clicks, I thought.
A total of 9. 1. You turned it all the way. You turned it to the left. 5. Then you decided to go 20. Oh, you said 20 clicks to the right. I beg your pardon. I misread it. I
20
read
clicks
it.
right.
My bad. So you turned it total left this far, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I can supply then that you did not feel the tension. You felt the tension building, but not to the apex.
On the 5 clicks or the 20?
On the 5 clicks to the left.
Oh.
I beg your pardon. I read 20 clicks left, not right.
Well, take it about 4 more left.
1, 2, 3, 4. And yes, now it is at its tension level.
Okay. And then what about 12 clicks right?
So all the way around, I think about twice to here. The School of Magic of Illusion. Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Fills the 3rd slot. There is a significant hum, the swirl of magic gathering about on this handle, as though someone were preparing to cast a large spell of some form. One slot remains. That would be number 20. And you can give me a perception check, sir. Okay. There doesn't seem to be any increase in tension. It's a little confusing. You can give me an intelligence check while you're at it. There, as you think back after spending all the way to all the way 20 to the left, you think back over the turnings. It seems to you must have encountered the building of pressure earlier, but amidst all the background pressure already built, you might have missed it.
What kind of spells do you think would have been in the other temple? Like what schools they would have belonged to?
When we got to the other temple, someone had already opened it. Varin supplies. We found their body at the entrance.
She'll take Del by the shoulders and back him up a bit and stand with him.
Go right 20. Okay. Whoops, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Give me another perception check, sir. And Del's just kind of, hearing that, he kind of looks up at you nervously. He's like, should we be worried?
I'm just hoping that it's not like to the levels that Varin got hurt at or would kill anyone.
Gulp. Alright, so you pay much more careful attention. You feel the tension gathering right around here. 3 clicks to the left. Instead of 14.
That would be
thinks
C.
for a second and blurts, "Wait, are you thinking about when you both electrocuted me?"
Yeah, I was thinking about that because remember we had to do all sorts of weird things with the, yeah.
That was a very different lock. We had to stand on stones.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if the other people died trying to open the other temple, and you got electrocuted trying to open a different temple.
Seems like these temples are dangerous to mess with.
Or at least open.
Yes, I... Are you commenting on how far you turned it, sir, or confirming a count? Okay. Yes, you felt the tension gathering at 3 clicks left. I mean, we did get some nice magic items out of it, but especially given the the apparent deaths at these various places, Varin things for one. That first place, the one where I got electrocuted, would that really be considered a temple? I mean, there was just a bunch of dead bodies inside it.
Yeah, but it also had strange markings in it.
True.
And Adran's been getting hurt by those strange markings, trying to figure them out.
Adran's been getting hurt. I'm the one who's been getting hurt.
No, remember he was washing his hands?
But that was from trying to read that name on the Adran. As we start bickering back and forth, you feel the magic gathering tighter and tighter, and the school of conjuration fills the final square. And you feel a shifting of something behind the knob, almost as though you might be able to push it now. You push it forward, Do you push it forward with just your hand, or with your or are you going to try and do this with magic as well? Just 2 fingers? It does not shift. It still refuses to shift. You can give me an Arcana check, sir. You punch it, gathering a gasp of surprise from 3 elves behind you. Like, what? And
that is some aggressive knocking there, sir.
Stubbornly refuses to move. But you do feel a slight give in the physical knob. You feel like there's a arcane resistance. You can give it one more try if you want with that Arcana check, sir. As you bend your mind and the force of your magic against the resistance of this knob, it pushes smoothly back into place. The symbols disappear, and the doors begin to swing open. Well done.
Well, that was shocking to me. Was it shocking to any of you?
No, I didn't get electrocuted this time.
Well then, Adran, it seems you're the only one hurt.
And you can now open the door in front of you, sir. Good job. With the lock, not the door itself. Clicking to open the door is actually fairly easy. You walk into a chamber that is silent and still. The ceiling rises to a height of 15 feet. There are no sources of light inside the temple, that you can inside this temple room that you can see. The waters before you radiate a soft, calming glow. There's rubble on the floor, and the ceiling above has partially collapsed, though it doesn't look like it's quite in danger of actually falling in. There's a door in the wall opposite the entrance, and there are doors to either side. Varin enters with a slight shudder, glancing at the stone and the water and the air about, muttering something about elementals. Thía, would you like to take control of Dell's character token for this?
Sure, just a second. Let's see.
Much appreciated, thank you. Adran,
I can't pick this up.
You can't? Oh, give me 1 second then. Adran, you're opening that room. There are various dents in this floor where there's a definite depression in the stone, almost as though either something walked that was very heavy through here, or someone slammed a very massive weapon down several times in various places. I realize now why you can't. I apologize for that, Thía. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Now you should be able to move his character token there, Thía. Excellent. Sorry about that. I redid his character sheet to try and make it work better than it has been the last several games. There is nothing else in this room, sir, beyond the pits in the floor. Varin mutters something about closed spaces and having to rely on his sling. I don't see anything in this room, just a bunch of dents in the stone. Dell stares at the glowing waters and mutter something like, it's kind of oddly calming. Adran, the room you've just opened, there are hooks on the walls where clothes must once have been hung, but the hooks are now bent, broken, and some of them look to have been melted. Adele just kind of stands there for a moment, staring into the waters, his eyes kind of wide and pupils slightly dilated.
Dal?
Huh?
Dal?
Huh?
Oh, what's fascinating about the water?
They glow. Or it glows. It's been so long since I saw water, but this water's glowing. It's not just because I'm thirsty, he adds.
Thea, we'll take a look at the water.
It is indeed glowing from not from the fountain, the stonework of the fountain. The water itself is emitting a soft glow. Adran, there is a door to your left and a door to your right.
That don't seem right. Why is it glowing?
The waters in the other temple were glowing too. We didn't pay much attention because everything in the room was trying to kill me.
Oh.
Still having trouble with an insomniac little one, sir? Dell stirs himself, glances back, and politely shuts the door behind us. No sense in letting all the sand in to, pollute the water. And we just hear from the next room, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Our fearless leader is being intelligent.
I thought that was being indecisive.
6 elf toes one way, 6 elf toes the other.
It's still like using some other way of determining the decision.
Well,
that's not being decisive.
Yeah, fair enough. What door would you like to open, sir? That was the wrong thing. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do a survival check. Varin looks down on the ground, looks around, sneezes a little in the dust. I know we saw those creatures yesterday come out of here, but I don't see their tracks. Of course, this is stone and there's just dust everywhere.
Are you sure they came out of here?
Yeah. I was using your spyglass. Sorry about the dents. Adran's thinking. If elf haulers let him roam.
Yes, thank you. I just made that up on the spot.
Well done.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Elves have 10 fingers and 10 toes. If elf wolf haulers let him roam.
Elf wolf, sure.
I'm gonna choose the left door.
Okay, you can go ahead and open it. It opens into a chamber. You'll have to step up to see more. A chamber and a hall that continues a little bit further on before turning to the right. The hall is dusty on the walls, the floor, and what you can see of the ceiling. Oh, looks like our fearless leader is proceeding. Might want to make sure he's not going to walk into traps or anything. Oh, Adran. You want a staff to tap the floor before you get stuck on anything? processing. Varin will bring up the rear to be on alert for anyone coming up behind. Assuming, you know, sleepfulness doesn't cause him problems.
I don't think he'd admit it anyway.
Probably not. His fingers are restlessly gripping and then relaxing on the strings of his sling. The hall just turns, still utterly dark and eerily silent. Did anyone take any measurements of how big this thing is from the outside?
No, there's magic, so it might be bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Well, that would just be odd.
Why?
Magic
Isn't
doesn't-
that how... Well, isn't that how the stories go?
I've never heard of it, but I only use nature magic. You know, stuff that's normal. Like making the ground eat everyone who walks across it. That's normal.
Yeah. But there's stories. I mean, they might not be true because they're stories, but still, they're stories.
Yeah, I guess we have seen weirder stuff. Nothing comes to mind. The hall turns to your right, sir. It ends in what seems to be a dead end.
Like, how did they set up the rock that came rolling after us? Like, did someone just have to, like, bring up a rock? That they push it up?
Maybe a bunch
There-
of sticks and stones. The hallway turns to your left, sir. As Thía, Del, and Varin are debating about magic and how it can affect the world. And Del's just kind of like, I'm still pretty new to all this. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because like there was one of the places we went. There was a big giant boulder that was chasing after us.
But I think that was more a natural boulder. I don't think it was a magical boulder.
Yeah, but how did they get the boulder there to set the trap with?
Why would pigs build homes?
Because they need somewhere to live.
I thought people usually built homes for them. Or sties.
Yeah, see, they have homes.
Yeah, but the pigs don't build them.
Well, I'm pretty sure if we didn't build them, they'd find a way to find a different home, even if they couldn't make it.
I suppose.
Yeah, like the hollow of a tree or a little cave where they can get eaten.
What a pleasant thought. Okay, Adran, I know I'm the one who got very little sleep last night, but you're not making much sense.
I think he's talking about the pigs.
Who uses a straw to build a home?
Pigs.
Okay. Can't argue much with that statement. Well, I guess this doesn't seem so bad, Del puts in. Nothing's popped out screaming its head off at us.
Seems like we're going on a corkscrew.
A door is before you, sir. Similar in style and structures to the doors we've opened before, on the way here. Do you open it? Or do you tap it first with a stick or something in order to make sure your hand won't get stuck to it? At that suggestion, Varin is just going to take a quick look behind, listening, and sniffing. Do you open the door, sir? A wide chamber lays before you. There are spaces on the wall, along the walls, that just by the discoloration, looks like there might have once been something lent against the walls. What they were is long gone. There are ashes strewn everywhere, long since cold and dark, filling the room with a soft shifting sigh whenever you take a step. There are spots on the floor that look as though it's a little bit of an odd shape, but as you study it, it looks as though the stones of this floor were actually smoothed down so that they formed kind of a natural sitting position on the floor. Beyond that, the room is empty. It looks like there are several spots spaced away from the walls where there are these kind of grooves have been gently, smoothly laid into the stone. And as you study it, you can confirm that you could actually sit on this and it would conform essentially to a seated position on the floor with your legs folded in front of you. Almost as though the door had been smoothed and shaped in order to complement those contours. The walls, the discoloration goes to about 10 feet from the floor towards the top of the ceiling, which the ceiling is 15 feet up. It looks as though the discoloration is in even rectangular forms, or maybe squares. It's a little hard to tell. Whoever would like to can give me a perception check. Thía with a natural 25, Varin with a 32. Thía and Varin are both able to smell against the stone of the walls the ancient scent of long since burnt wood. It seems that long ago there used to be rectangular wooden structures leaned against the stone walls.
I wonder why they would do that. Did they burn them while they were against the walls?
Varin shrugs. I just smell wood smoke. Dell looks at Varin curiously. How do you smell wood smoke in stone?
It kind of permeates the stone a bit.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you can tell there's a forest fire, except different.
Which other door? Varin says, even as he backs up to make room. One on the right. Oh, okay, yeah. That room with the melted hooks, it looks like you had been taking target practice with firebolt. I was just moving my token on top of Dell, like I was standing on him.
That's one way to get him to go faster.
Varin just kind of like starts pushing it back on both your backs.
You could get it in front of us.
I'm keeping watch for people coming up behind.
Is there a reason why we're not going down any of the other halls?
Adran didn't lead us down.
Yeah.
There's no door there. And we've learned the dangers of stepping on stone that isn't, properly checked. Or touching things that look normal. And then they suddenly have mouths with teeth. which draws a curious look from Del, like, excuse me?
Yeah, there was a room in one place we were at where everything was trying to eat us.
Okay. Why? Adran, you
They
open
were
the door.
hungry?
There is a shaft, a square shaft that descends some 10-15 feet down and extends roughly 15, 20, maybe even 30 feet up. There's tangles of rotted ropes and what look like wooden pulleys.
You want me to scout it out?
She claims better than any of us. Thía, the stone is old enough that you're not going to want for handholds or footholds. Which way would you like to go?
Which way does Adran want me to go first? Alright, shall go down.
Alright. Using your second story work, I'll take your character token for a second here. You can open the door before you. Dust and rotted fibers collapsing in dust about you as you push your way through the tangled, rotted ropes. This room is pristine, except for the state of dust. And there are workbenches of old wood, dark with age and stained with work. There are prints in the dust on the wooden benches that show objects must have once rested here. But whatever they were, they're long gone now. You do recognize some of the shapes of dust. They kind of look like different variations of like hammers. Maybe a saw? Maybe there's a few other shapes that you can't really identify.
Is the wood in decent shape?
Aside from being extremely old and probably in need of being, oiled and polished, it would be very, very brittle wood.
Okay. And there doesn't seem to be
that's something that you would definitely be able to ascertain with your knowledge of woodwork.
Alright, well, it was worth looking at, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, I guess she'll go back up.
Okay.
And she'll stop by the floor that everyone's on before going up.
Okay. And I'll move you back to that. You climb back up to Adrian's side.
So, looks like down there was a woodworking shop of some sort. I don't know what they were making necessarily. The wood's no good, but, it's in decent shape.
You hear a hiss of some impolite word from Varin of annoyance.
I was kind of sad that the wood isn't in good shape. That would have made some really good arrows.
What a waste. What would anyone use wood to make a table for?
Don't we have wooden tables at home?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, well, I'm gonna head on up.
Doug gives Varin a look. Varin, as you start going up, Varin is going to tie a rope around your waist, excuse me, so that you can carry it up with you, without getting in the way of your hands.
Okay.
You do climb up. It's a long, compared to going down, it's kind of a long climb, but not a challenge for you. You rise, you lift yourself up to another hallway. Do you wish to secure the rope? I think you have pitons, don't you?
I believe I do. Let's see.
Del looks over you, Adran. Are we all going up after her with the rope?
I'm not saying that I do.
No pitons?
No, I don't have that.
Oh.
I have rope.
But I guess that's up to you, says Adran. And Del just rolls his eyes like, really? Pitons? You should have. Let me think. You have a couple of darts. You have a couple of daggers.
Yeah. Well, what she might do is secure it to the immovable rod.
Oh yeah, duh. So yeah, just click it in place. And tie the rope to it.
Mhm.
All right. In that case, I'm assuming we're all going up. Sorry, what, Thía?
Yeah, and then she'll go ahead and go into the other room so that they don't have to move past her.
Excellent. While I'm getting us ready to move over, please go ahead and give me another perception check as you're currently acting as our scout.
Alright.
Okay. You hear and see nothing. And
Okay.
aside from just smelling dust, nothing there either. And I'll get us onto the map as soon as it's done loading. Excellent, it worked.
Okay, and once everyone's up, she'll take and untie the rope, hand the rope back to Varin, and then grab her rod back.
Thanks. Varin, there's a hint of a subdued growl, and Varin closes his eyes and shakes his head a little.
You're welcome.
Adran, the hall turns to the right and comes to a fork. One passage to the left, one to the right. Still utterly dark. And just to clarify, we are relying entirely on dark vision at this point. So everything is seen in shades of gray. You go to the right, sir? Excellent. That is, as far as you know, the correct way to go. Maybe.
I don't know. In some of the old school games, you wanted to go to the left so you'd get the really nice loot, so it was easier to kill the boss.
And Varin is now going in a zigzag path, or Adran is going in a zigzag path.
Are you doing okay, Adran?
Checking for traps, maybe. Didn't like it. What was wrong with the floor?
Or were you trying to set off the traps?
It looked weird. Varin just kind of glances back at the dusty, seemingly unremarkable hall. Okay.
Thía, not understanding, will take out one of her torches and light it on fire to see if there's something about the floor that he noticed that she didn't.
In that case, give me 1 second to put a torch on your character. Hug the wall. I don't know, Adran's seeming kind of nervous. Adran, would you like to give me a perception check? Fair enough. Alright, so Thía's lit a torch. Adran, you tease us to hug the wall, and as you turn back to look towards the direction you're going, out of the corner of your eye there was a ripple in the wall. A shift, a movement. You look back. Solid stone. Nothing happened. As the three of us come around the corner, Thía carrying a lit, crackling torch.
I don't see anything strange with the floor, Adran.
just dust. Okay.
Except for the weird walking pattern you put in the floor on the other, down that last hall.
Varin sneezes. I'm gonna get cold with all this dust.
I thought it was cold. It was being wet that gives you a cold.
I'm claiming it's dust. Adran, the hallway ends, and there at the end of the hall is a single torch. Beneath the torch, inscribed on the wall, are the following words in Elvish. The patient mind will open doors which might cannot.
You know, I feel like lighting that torch might set off a trap.
Only one way to find out. By the way, yes, I'll put it in the chat. And Adran, Varin is going to ask you, what do you mean don't hug the walls?
Did you get into the special tea again?
Varin snorts. So those are the words you see inscribed in the wall. Thía, you can give me a perception check. As you mentioned the notion of tea, you're kind of laughing a little bit, and as your head goes up, you see out of the corner of one eye, the ceiling just rippled and seemed to shimmer. As you raise the torch higher and glance more carefully, there's nothing there. It's just ordinary ceiling.
No, that's the ceiling that has the ripple effect, not the walls.
Varin looks at both of you. Okay, I know I missed something last night, but which one of you, or both of you, did you get into the tea?
No, it moved.
Adran, would you like to give me an investigation check? What moved?
The ceiling did.
Ceilings don't move. Oh, with a nat 20. With a torchlight, you spy on the floor the same grooves in that chamber below, where people must have once sat in a admittedly strange position or posture. It is positioned so as to be facing towards the wall below the torch. Thía, I hate to break it to you, but most ceilings don't move. Or walls, for that matter, Adran.
We've had rugs try to eat us.
And a bed.
Yes. And a coat closet. Do you want me to light the torch, Adran?
She does have a lit torch in hand. Oh, excuse me.
Okay. So she'll go ahead and stand under the torch, light it, kind of douse hers out.
You touch your torch to the torch on the wall, and it does not light. As you study it, the flames of your torch, nothing about them has changed. They're not pulling back, or they're still, flickering. They're just not lighting the torch.
Huh.
Okay, yeah, that's a little different.
Can she take the torch out of the wall sconce?
You can give me an investigation check. Kneel before the torch.
Investigation said.
Yes, an investigation check, please. It does look as though it's been bolted into the wall.
The torch itself, or
Yes.
just the sconce?
Like it's bolt. So it is a How do I phrase it? It's an iron sconce. Man. Okay, for an Indiana Jones reference. Oh, you already have an inspiration point. Too bad. So the torch looks as though it's either bolted to the sconce or might be fused with the iron sconce.
That's bizarre. Here, Adran, you hold the torch, and I'll go ahead and kneel.
Okay. So Thía, you begin to meditate, yes?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of an awkward position. It's and a very strange one to sit in because you've never really sat in this specific position before. And after a bit of tangling yourself about and crossing, recrossing, kneeling, etc., you finally find what seems to be the right position. And do you close your eyes to meditate?
Yeah, might as well.
Thía, as you meditate and quiet your mind, a dimly lit chamber begins to fill into the vision of your head, hovering. It's clearly an illusion, because as you open your eyes, you still see the chamber, but you see it as though it's transparent. There are 9 skulls resting near a 4-foot square set of tiles on the floor of this illusory chamber. Carved into the stone floor is the following words. Again, written in Elvish. Brave warriors met their demise foretold. Their secret kept shall yet unfold. If crowns placed correctly on the shrine, celestial beds for 4 of 9. As you study this, Adran and Del and Varin all kind of collectively gasp as the chamber starts to come clear as an illusion to them as well. Do you want to investigate this illusory chamber? I almost said chamber.
Yeah.
Okay. Either one of you can give me an investigation check.
Yeah, it's a chamber.
Yeah. Adran, as you study this in the stone floor and the tiles, the verse indicates to you that 4 of the skulls need to rest on tiles inscribed with stars. Celestial beds for 4 of 9. I assume your throat's still doing poorly, sir. I'm very sorry to hear that. Do you share that what you deduce? Do you share what you deduce to Thía? Okay. As he mentions this to you, Thía, you can give me an insight check. No great insight comes to you about this. It
Looks like a puzzle.
exactly. So Varin is going to think on it as well. Oh wow, dirty 20. Okay. Varin will touch your shoulder, Thía. I don't get exactly this, but look at the numbers on the top and on the right. Do you think maybe they say like how many skulls have to be lined up?
Maybe.
You can attempt to move one of the skulls. if you wish.
Because
you
if
dare.
that's the case, this one needs 1, but this also needs the 1. So maybe it goes here.
That would be 1 star covered.
This needs 3. This row does.
Indeed.
So does this row.
To help clarify, the top numbers would denote columns. Excuse me 1 second. You're not the only one dealing with the cough, sir.
So probably like this, because this row needs 3.
Seems to fit so far. I believe that is now 4 stars covered. No, 3 stars.
3 of the stars. This column needs 3. This one needs 2. So we did like this and this. Like that. Like that. And like that.
I'm double checking. The illusion suddenly vanishes from before us, and the torch lights. You hear a soft chime that reverberates through the walls and ceiling. Sorry, Thea, I have to move you so I can actually grab that torch. So now, Adran, you are holding a lit torch, and the torch on the wall is also lit. Aside from that, nothing seems to have changed.
Maybe there's other torches like this where we have to go and solve a puzzle to get them lit.
There was another hallway back there. The one that led to the left.
Well,
Which I
let's
guess
go
now
check it out.
as we approach it now would be straight ahead. Right?
Okay.
Who would like to take the lead? Adran would, okay. Adran, you can give me a perception check. It's kind of an odd sensation as you walk around. It's almost as though the stones themselves are briefly more fluid than they are solid. But, it's just your imagination, surely. Do you mention this to the others? Oh look, he doesn't have a problem going down this hallway now. Do the walls look like they're Okay, what have you been drinking?
Maybe it's the whole hallway? I mean, I thought it was the ceiling.
It's stone. They don't move. Is anyone else going to be looking about and being on alert? Searching?
Yeah, they'll be like looking up every now and then because she did see it move.
Okay, Thía, you can give me another perception check.
Yep, that seems to be what I'm capable of.
Yeah, the stone, it's just solid stone. It's dust covered, quiet, stale. Oh wait, what's that smell? It smells like roasting meat with lavender and... No, it's just dust. Varin, with the torch in your hand, you see another unlit torch on the wall. A similar inscription beneath it, and the familiar grooves for sitting.
Okay, maybe it's the same position as it was before. Thía, go ahead and do what she had done before.
Okay, and you do what you did before. You start meditating, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Slowly filtering into the air in front of all of us, we see before our eyes a chamber coming into view, suspended in the air and slightly translucent. Its walls are decorated with 8 framed paintings of different creatures. Hovering in the center of the chamber are the following words in Elvish. In order to gain knowledge, one must know where to start. Count on your enemies to reveal this secret. This room is dedicated to the defeat of all monsters within. There is, from the center of the room, straight ahead, a painting of 1 hyena. To the right, a painting of 3 spiders. A painting of 5 ghouls. A painting of 2 lizards. A painting of 7 grizzly bears. A painting of, much to Thea's annoyance, 8 revenants. A painting of 4 chimeras. And finally a painting of 6 centaurs. Scimitars. Meh. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
And there's no partridges in a pear tree.
Who would like to investigate?
I'm staying away from the revenants.
They do seem to stare, all of them, with malevolent, hate-filled gazes. But to the best of your sight, they do not seem to be animated. Wow, with a nice 27 investigation check. Nice roll, sir. Staring at these paintings, and especially given your experience at the door to enter this temple, you easily deduce that the number of creatures in a painting is important.
Thía will be like, I thought we've fought more than 1 hyena before, though.
I've fought a lot of hyenas before.
I know, but I don't think I've ever remembered us fighting that many grizzly bears.
Well, is this about creatures we fought? Because I don't think we've even ever fought lizards. Or horses with human bodies.
Yeah, I've never seen those before. And I'm pretty sure I've killed more than 3 spiders.
I think that's a safe bet. You killed that one that had an elf body.
Yeah, that one was creepy.
I glance over at Del, who has the exact same skin tone and coloration as the elf part of that spider body, and was like, yeah, little worrisome. Steps back from Del. Adran, as you study this, the number of creatures and the number, and it might have some in each painting, Could there be something about the number and the names of the creatures? Thea, you can give me a perception check.
Well, let's see if it's different than 15.
Hey, it's different from 15.
Ooh! Better even.
The words count on. That sticks in your mind. Maybe something about counting not all the creatures, but the creatures in each painting. What was that flavor? It was like burnt cheese. Ash.
Huh. So, there's one hyena. 2 of the lizards. Are we able to move the paintings?
No, it's illusion. You reach forward and your hand passes right through the paintings and the illusion of the chamber.
Oh, okay. Well, I was able to move the skulls. I thought maybe the paintings would move.
Fair.
Okay.
Do you share your flash of insight with Adran?
Yeah.
Adran, with what you've deduced yourself, counting the creatures in each painting, how does that correlate to the name of the creature or the kind? So, like, one hyena, count the first letter.
Oh, is it one of those letter puzzles again? So, like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is 8?
I'm
Maybe
sorry, you
it's
lost me on that one.
Well, you said the starting of the letter. Maybe it's the end of the... Or maybe I just went on a tangent. That's not helpful.
And then, if you count the creatures, and the number of the creatures in each painting relates to the name of the creature, so you have a painting of one hyena.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first letter?
A? Or H is the first letter of hyena, though.
Yes, the first letter is H. So that gives you... I'll help you out a little there. Put an H. Wow, that's tiny.
So we have H. We have an L. That's an I here.
Yeah, that's slightly bigger. Hang on, I gotta shrink something. Here we go. Whoa! Adran's drawing lines through the air with minor illusion. Alright, sorry.
Now, I think it might spell out a word, Adran. Because this is an I here. That would be an I. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be an S. This one would be a Y.
Actually, the 5 ghouls, it would actually be an L.
This one would be an A.
I'm sorry, I lost count with
1,
what Adran said.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, you're right. It would be an L. I was wrong. So that's an L.
There you go. Alright, and what did you say about the grizzly bears?
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's a Y.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one's a T. And this one's an M. And this one's a U.
Again, I've lost my mouse. Here we go.
Am I correct, Adran? Is it humility?
The light of the torch bursts into flame. And there is a second chime. As we all drop to our seats, our eyes close, and our minds suddenly rush through a dark, dark tunnel for a long, long time. We open our eyes to the starlit sky overhead. The sky is filled with maybe clouds, vapors between the stars. It's hard to see clearly. It's gray, almost like a misty, light rain-filled night. The breath in our lungs is quiet, unheard. There's a quiet, sighing noise all about us that is not nearly enough to obtrude overmuch on our attention. Stone beneath our feet, our backs, as we lie there resting. As we sit up, we see that there is a courtyard of stone all about us. Beyond the edge of the courtyard, it ends in a sudden sea in constant motion, as gray as the sky overhead, and is filled with stars beneath the moving waves, in a constant, restless undulation. Before us is, it looks like an exquisitely carved statue of some form of green stone, muscular build. No carvings to indicate hair on it. Just standing there, sword in hand, lowering to its point to the stone floor of the courtyard beneath it. As we look about, there are torches lit to the sides. And all is quiet. Adran, what happened?
Thía will bow.
Well, you are lying prone on your back.
She'll stand up and then bow.
And Adran, do you just like start muttering about twinkle, twinkle, little bat? I look at both of you like, you have both lost your minds. As Del sits up, looks around. I feel like I just took a long nap. What happened? You mean your old ears? You got a long way to go. Assuming, we survive.
Well, Del, I think we were transported while we were sleeping.
Oh, again. Our days and years. Varin pushes himself restlessly up to his feet, dusts himself off. Except what comes off of Varin is not dust so much as tiny bursts of sparkling motes of energy that fade away into nothingness. Upon seeing that, Varin goes still and just kind of like,
Shiny.
Yes, it is very shiny. As you look at Varin doesn't seem entirely all that actually solid.
Poke Varin.
It feels solid. But you both kind of look, I don't know, somewhat glowy? Maybe slightly transparent?
Is Del transparent also?
Yes. all of us seem to be, to each other, slightly transparent. And slightly with a luminescent border. Ooh.
What if we left our bodies?
You mean we died?
No. Our bodies are still alive. We're just not in our bodies.
I think Adran is a little confused. What language are you trying to speak there?
I think he's trying to remember the name of the thing. There's supposed to be this thing where if you meditate and reach beyond the stars, you're supposed to like leave your body or something.
That sounds unhealthy. Out of body place. Well, yeah, this seems kind of out of body. Give me 1 second. Something just went wrong on my end.
Look over at the statue and be like, ma'am or sir, do you know why we're here?
Varin just kind of like says, are you trying to say astral? Okay, that's not where I put it. That's confusing and annoying. The statue raises its head, its eyes closed, and utters no sound, but all of us hear in our minds. Not elvish, not goblin, not dwarvish, not draconic, nor any of the languages we know. Rather, we hear them all at the same time in each of our heads. You have passed the test of wit. The border beyond this place will not be reached by the weak of will. You will not pass untested.
Oh, okay.
Roll for initiative. For Thía, 23 for Varin. Parlay, says Adran. Oh, sorry, I know what happened there. Hold on. Ignore that roll of 50. Sorry, force it happened there. A 16 for Adran. Here we go. Oh, excuse me. Eventually it'll finish loading. I hit another lag on my screen. Okay,
while you're setting things... Oh.
Such a lag, such a drag. You were going to say something?
I'll be right back.
Certainly. And yes, I do need to set certain things in motion. I'd rather be a drag. Okay, let me get the initiative tracker arranged on my screen. There we go. As the statue utters its warning through our thoughts in more languages than we even know, the ground between us and it suddenly boils and erupts, not so much as exploding, not as though something were forcing its way out through solid ground, but rather something slides out through the ground as effortlessly as though it were sliding through water. The shape is sleek, starting at a point, widening dramatically around the head and very large mouth, tapering back in an almost conical form. Angular fins protrude from the body, 3 of them. No, 4, no, there's 1 on the tail too. There's 2 on the tail. There's 1 on the back of each creature. 2 vertical fins on the tails. 2 fins lowering to either side, diagonally from the torso. And smaller fins line the translucent bodies. And those wide mouths are full of teeth. Varin utters a quick gasp, snatches his sling out, and is going to volley. As soon as I find my token for volley. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 shots. Make sure I'm not normal. Yes. Six sling stones gone. Welcome back, Thía. Okay, get rid of that. Alright, that first shot is a 23, and that's gonna hit for 8 damage. The stone hits the snout of this angular creature and seems to shatter into dust, though the creature flinches in pain. Yep, I'm gonna have to do some editing later. Sorry about that, everyone.
It's okay.
That's what it is, yeah.
This seems to be happening on a regular basis, and I'm not sure what's going on. Like every single time we play now. Well, admittedly it didn't happen last week, but that's because, you know, we weren't playing.
Oh, there's the bell.
I think you missed my epic description of what came up through the floor. Well, alright.
Yeah, because like I saw you adding things, and I saw like stuff getting added to the turn order, but you like before all that happened, your little picture thing like disappeared.
Weird. Yeah, it never looked like you guys left to me, so I have no idea what happened.
No clue.
And this happened. This seems to happen. This seems to be like what, the 3rd or 4th time it's happened in as many times as we've played in a row, right around the same time.
I'm still not getting my character sheet up.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
See,
I'm gonna try to log out and then log back in again real quick.
all right.
okay.
Well, that'll give me a chance to quickly grab some extra character sheets.
Makes you wonder if they're like doing site maintenance at this time, or if
That would be
it's
my
just
guess.
heavy, or because it's a Saturday evening, if it's just that bit, if there's that much of a load on the site.
I mean, that could be it too. Adran, are you back? disconnect. Don't see Adran.
I see his picture, but
Right, I
I
don't
don't see
her.
the. Oh, there's the load-in symbol.
Oh, Adran, can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine. I'm still waiting for my character sheet to load.
Gotcha.
Alright.
Well,
There's the window.
hey, success.
Yay!
We're back.
There's one triangle.
After
There's
some
another triangle. 2 more. Still not saying it's 20. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I've been running into a lot whenever I try to open any character sheet. It's that long, lagging, slow load.
And now it's going to show another. There we go. Okay, finally. Wow.
So,
that took
getting back on track.
forever.
I'll have to
My
edit a bunch of that out. Getting back
Oh.
on track. The statues broadcasted apparently a message in apparently all languages that we know and some we've never even heard of. Out of the floor, rising seamlessly as though through water or air, it's so effortless, are these long, tubular bodies that start at a narrow point, broaden rapidly around the head, with dark, glittering eyes and a gaping, fang or tooth-filled mouth that tapers narrowly down. There are several fins protruding from the body, along the top, from the bottom of its sides, some smaller fins, and then 2 vertical fins at the end of its tail. These creatures surge forward, straight up out of the stone, wriggling their way through the air with menacing predatorial grace. As the first act, Varin yanked out, just whipped his sling along, his hands blurring, and sent 6 shots winging through the air. The first stone struck this creature here on the tip of its snout, the stone seeming to burst apart in a sparkling of energy rather than matter. Second shot, 27 to hit, 6 damage, that's a hit. Third shot, 20 to hit, 9 damage, it's another hit. Fourth shot, 21 for another 9 damage, it's another hit. Oops. There we go. I gotta scroll down and see the rest of the shots. A 16 and a 20, both are hits. 16 for 6 and 20 for 7. As I spent 6 stones already from my pouch, Varin immediately goes to move to the left, but rather oddly doesn't move nearly as quickly as is his normal wont. Give me 1 second while I reload my character sheet. Slowly, I'm running to the same lag you were, sir.
Triangle's taking a slow time to load, huh?
Sorry, what was that?
The triangles are taking a slow turn to load, huh?
Oh, yeah. Alright. So Varin is going to move his full movement 30 feet? And Varin just kind of looks down like, why? I can't move. And you notice Varin's feet aren't actually touching the stone floor. Alright, so that was Varin's turn. One of these creatures, there's no better way to describe it. It swims through the air. Right up to Varin. And Varin needs to give me an intelligence saving throw. As rather than biting at Varin, the mouth drops open and a howl of noise erupts from the gaping maw. Varin is going to take half of this. Oops. "15 points of psychic damage as the sound rips into Varin's mind." 15.
You had said half of that.
You're right, thank you. Brain went blank. So that's 7. Varin howls, grabbing at his head in pain. The statue seems to just stand there, immobile, almost with the attention of someone who's watching, but with eyes still shut. And then this creature swims through the air towards Varin. Give me 1 second. I need to mark something. Okay. And it, instead of howling, goes to bite at Varin. Getting a 22, which certainly hits. And Varin grunts in sudden pain, as it looks like a large chunk of almost spectral flesh is suddenly missing from Varin's side. Adran, it is your turn. Your movement speed is not 30. Your movement speed, once I get this up here, because you try to open your character sheet. Of course, the whole thing's like, oh no, molasses! Your speed is not 20, sir. Once I get your... actually, Adran, what is your intelligence score? You have a movement speed of 55 feet. 3 times your intelligence score. I'm rounding up.
50 what?
You have a I'm rounding up. You have a movement speed equal to 3 times your intelligence score. Three times 18 is 55, rounded up. Technically it's 54, but well, we only have 5 feet of movement per square, so I'm rounding it up. What would you like to do, sir? I think you're flabbergasted.
Well, where would you like to be? You can be that, basically.
Basically. Bear in mind, you do have your shield. No, wait, not your shield. You have the idea of your shield on your arm. You have the idea of Sanguine Nonetheless on your hip. What would you like to do, sir?
Sorry, I had a little backfire going on with my body.
That's fair. Choking is allowed. Dying is not.
Oh no, you'll love when I explain it afterwards, but not pretty.
Fair. What would you like to do? Oh, he's muted again. You blur to that point. I assume activate Sanguine Nonetheless. What damage type, sir? Alright. There you go. Alright, you have your sword equipped with a blade of shimmering, hardly visible force. And you have advantage if you attack that creature. Oh, that's a crit. That's a good 20 points of damage. This creature bursts apart with another shrieking howl and dissipates. You have 2 more attacks, sir. And that gives you advantage once more. You kidding me? Another nat 20?
Clearly in his element, obviously.
Clearly. Oh, wow. That is 15 points of damage. Die, spiritual demon. It takes massive damage and shrieks as it is dissipated. You have 1 attack remaining, sir. Adran clutches at his side, just like, ah, what? You have only 10 feet of movement remaining. You could throw Sanguine nonetheless. You would be treating it as an improvised thrown weapon attack. Oh, well there you go. Since it is a finesse weapon, I will allow you to use your dexterity for the throw instead of strength. So roll me 1d20 plus your dexterity modifier. No proficiency bonus. You have a normal range of 20 feet. So this creature right here is the one even range? Yes. Either of those two closest creatures are in your normal range. Sanguine nonetheless soars through the air and strikes true. Which one are we targeting, sir? The one to the far right. Excellent. And roll me 1d8 plus 5. For a solid 8 damage. Now you did use your bonus action to, activate Sanguine nonetheless. So that was your total movement and your attack action. Unless you wanted to action surge. Anything else for you, sir? Alright, so you end your turn. Awesome. Alright, give me an intelligence saving throw, sir, as this creature swims through the air towards you with as much grace and speed as you yourself are moving, and utters a horrendous scream at you. Okay, you're going to take half damage as you succeed your saving throw. Well done, sir. You're going to take half damage from this, so you only take... Oh, wow. Good thing you took half damage. You're going to take 12 psychic damage from this. The pain ripping into your mind and the image of thousands of teeth ripping through your psyche. Thía, it's your turn.
Okay.
as Adran shrieks in pain.
She'll move so she can get a better shot at this guy right there.
Okay, you have movement speed equal to 3 times your intelligence score.
So 36 or 35 rather.
What is your intelligence score? 12? 36. Yeah, we'll round it down to 35, just to make it even. So not that much.
So I'm about as fast as I normally am.
Yeah, there you go. It pays to be intelligent sometimes. You will not have advantage, but you will have sneak attack if you hit.
Okay. So she'll she'll get her sling off of her wrist. And let's see. There it is.
Nat 1.
Well.
The sling stone soars over the creature's head, turns into a fish that does a loop-de-loop, and disappears into the sea beyond.
Well, that was pretty.
Anything else for you, Thía? You can bonus action dash, if you wish.
She has 5 more feet of movement, so she'll just move up 1.
Alright.
So
Your body is not so much moving as much as your mind is compelling your shape to move through this strange, ephemeral place. Alright, so that's your turn. Dell's going to pull out the Staff of Healing, pointed at Varin, and is going to expend 2 charges to cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level. 13. Adran? He calls out. So, is any of this actually happening? And he's going to move 30 feet to the side, because he doesn't want to get bit by those things. Alright, the next creature's turn. It swims up towards you, sir, and is going to bite at you with advantage. Getting an 18, and translucent teeth scrape against your armor. And seemingly the force of your mind as well. Alright, this creature's gonna move here. Thía. Oh, and Varin as well. Both of you please give me intelligence saving throws. Thía and Varin. We both fail. We're going to take full damage from this. Okay, we both take 27 psychic damage, as horrendous thoughts rake through our minds as though it's ripping through our flesh.
Is this an area of effect?
It is area of effect. It's a 30-foot cone.
Okay, I take half damage. Evasion.
Is that for dexterity based?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
No worries. Good call. I almost forgot to. Excellent call.
Didn't read the whole thing, just saw that you get to dodge out of the way.
Right?
So,
I was like, ooh, oh no.
Yeah.
But excellent move. And then this creature is going to swim. It is going to swim within reach of you, sir, if you wanted to use your reaction to make an attack of opportunity. It's basically swimming over the body of the creature to your right. Alright, give me the attack. That was weird. For a second there, I thought my screen had zoomed out. Nope. Wait, can you do that with Warcaster? Your feet. Yeah, you can do that if you wish. It would be a disadvantage because you're making a ranged attack with with enemies within 5 feet of you. So you can do it if you wish. Would you like to? I take that as a yes. The idea of fire lances not from your fingers, not from Sanguine nonetheless, but from the center of your mind, striking into the belly of this translucent idea of a creature for 8 fire damage. Excellent shot, sir. It is, however, still alive, and now takes a bite at you, Thía, with advantage. I get a 17, which I believe is not enough.
Yep, that's a miss.
Excellent. Alright, Varin. So, if everything is mine here... He glances at you, Adran. Sound about right? Varin drops his sling and pulls out his longbow. Alright, let's see how it likes this. I'm targeting the 2 creatures near you, Adran. Attacking the one on your right with my sling, with my longbow. A 16 is certainly going to hit for 13 damage, and I'm going to put Colossus Slayer on that. So that becomes 18, and the idea of an arrow blasts through the core of the creature, ripping it to shreds. And then I'm going to use a bonus action to Hunter's Mark the other creature to the top left of you, sir. Concentration. There it is. And extra attack. Yep, that's a hit. Hunter's Mark. So that becomes 14 damage. It actually succeeds its saving throw and is not obliterated by that shot. And then I'm going to... Ooh, pardon me. Move as far as my mind can think. A whopping 30 feet. It will buy my blade. The statue remains motionless. Adran, your blade is not in your hand, it is 20 feet away.
The creature, you did not kill it, but I will by my blade.
Ah, there you go. You can use your bonus action to summon Sanguine nonetheless once more. Ah, it snaps to your hand. The blade of force once more where it should be humming. You have 3 attacks, sir. Are you kidding me? Well, that's an epic kill as you crit nat 20. For another 15 against a creature who had 1 hit point. How many nat 20s is that now for you? Almost in a row? Jeez. Alright, well, you do have 55 feet of movement, sir. where would you like to go? Or rather, where would you like to not be anymore? You have advantage on your attack as you flank with Thía. This is gonna be ugly. If you get a nat 1 on this, I'm going to laugh at you. Well, yes, that'll hit for 11 damage, and there's a brief moment as the point of Sanguine Nonetheless's humming blade comes within an inch of Thea's nose, though you don't actually hit her. One more attack for you, sir. You've moved 10 feet. You moved a total of 30 feet, I think? I lost count because I wasn't thinking about it. And you definitely shred that last swimming creature. It bursts apart. You still have quite a bit of movement remaining, sir. You've moved 30, you have 25 feet remaining. This is definitely the place you were born to do combat in. Good grief. As you move towards the statue. Excellent. Thía, it is your turn.
Is the test done?
You can give me an insight check. Nope. You definitely feel the imminent threat still looming. What would you
Okay.
like to do?
She'll get up here so she can stand there. She's not sure where the threat is or what the threat is, so
Okay.
she'll
Would you
just
say
dodge.
are you going to ready an attack to, ready an action to attack a threat?
She's just gonna dodge because she doesn't know where it's at.
Okay, we are almost out of time. Do we want to finish this?
If it doesn't take much longer, we could, yeah.
Excellent. Alright, so Thía, you're dodging. Del is standing slack-jawed, staring at Adran's deadly dance. And he's like, wow. And he's going to move, he's going to use his action to dash. Basically get here. So that there's, you two impressive fighters between him and, well, hopefully between him and anything else. Top of the round, Varin is going to use his bonus action to shift Hunter's Mark onto the statue. Alright. You wanted to test, right? He snarls. Get rid of this real quick. And Varin is going to attack with his longbow. Alright, 18 is a glancing blow, but the 22 is a solid hit. So 200 marks and Colossus Slayer. Okay, let me check something. Okay. So, glancing blow. And then the 22 hits for 9. Huh, Varin says. I don't think I impressed it all that much. And the statue raises its sword to a guard position as two massive wings snap out from behind him, and he bursts forward into motion right towards you, Adran. Right. So let me find... Okay. Sorry, my character sheet is going slow again. Okay, here we go. Sort of. Here we sort of go. Sorry, it's going slow. Give me a sec. Come on, good grief. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Ah, okay. It's going to lift its massive great sword, and it's going to bring it down upon you, sir. Eventually. I get a 23, which doesn't hit, and then I get a 29. The plane of force bursts forth around you, barely deflecting the massive blow, and a flash of brilliant light bursts from the sword as it counters against your shield. Alright, Adran, it is your turn, sir. Now it's gone, indeed. We'll go with the 18 since that's the first number rolled, and you should not be attacking with advantage. That is going to hit, but for half damage. You deal 6 points of damage to it. The 11, its massive blade sweeps Sanguine nonetheless to one side, completely ineffectual. That's actually going to hit for a solid 13. Anything else for you, sir? You're going to move behind it. Excellent. Thía, your turn. I assume that was all for you, sir. Oh, did you have something else in mind? Okay, that's fair. Thía?
She'll move there and pull out her sword.
Excellent. You have advantage and sneak attack if you hit. Uh, 24 is definitely gonna hit. That's odd. It's not showing up on my Dungeon Master screen. That is 29 points of damage. That's a good hit.
And I do believe that's it.
Okay. Dell. I don't think I should pull out my dagger. Am I right? Getting a Adran. Okay, he starts dodging. All right, Varin. Huh. Tough guy. He's going to take shots from where he is. Oh, wow. Both of those are going to hit solidly. Okay. So that is 17, 20, 26, 28 points of damage. And the creature suddenly disappears. Adran, what would you like to do? You sense movement. It's not gone, but you don't exactly hear where it went either. You're going to ready in action to attack? As soon as you see it, kind of thing? Okay. Thía, what would you like to do?
Dodge.
Okay. Dell's also going to dodge. Varin is going to... I just realized something. Alright, first he's going to search. He's going to spin around toward Dell's direction and loose 2 shots blind. The 17 is going to be a miss. The 18 is a glancing blow. So Hunter's Mark and Colossus Slayer. Let me see here, 1 second. Alright. Sorry, I have to double check something real quick. Okay. Alright, and then it has to make a Constitution saving throw. Yeah, it succeeds. Dell, look out! It's going to come out of invisibility. It's going to use its action to attack at normal because it was attacking while it was invisible. Oh dear. That is 49 points of damage. Dell disappears. And then he moves towards you, Thía. Attacking. Oh, sorry. It's going to be at disadvantage. Ignore. I'm going to roll one more time. Sorry about that. We'll go ahead and lower the 2 attack rolls. So 30 or 16. So it takes 6. So it get a 16 against you, which misses, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. My apologies about that. Sorry. It moved 15 feet, and then it soars upward into the air. Sorry. Is now 42 feet up. Adran, you can use your ready to action to attack the threat. You can do so with Firebolt or Sanguine. Well, you can't do it with Sanguine nonetheless, unless you want to throw it. That's an excellent question, actually. Give me an intelligence check. comes to you that here, you may not need to rely on magic to really fly, since things are more mind. But we're not talking about... Sorry. We're not talking about for your reaction, sir. We're talking... that's for your turn. It came out from its, invisibility. You had a readied action to attack. Do you recall? There you go. Alright, give it to him. The blade swings down and counters your bolt of fire. Alright, now it is your turn, sir. He is 40 feet up in the air. And I assume you're going to attack. You're effectively flying, sir. You're not climbing. Okay. Alright, did you want to attack him? I will take that as a yes. He blocked you with his massive sword. That one actually hits for 13 force. Nice. Oh, that's another hit for 12. There you go. Anything else for you, sir? Action surge. Do it. That'll hit. 9, and that's a crit. For 14. And that one misses. So you've basically flown 40 feet up. Yes? Okay, second win. Okay, you recover 16 hit points. Nicely done, sir. Alright, Thía. Adran is right next to this flying creature, but he is 40 feet up. You can give me an intelligence check. No, check. At normal.
Oh, check. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. I mean, if Adran can fly without magic, maybe you can too. Granted, you would have to use your bonus action to dash to actually reach him.
Might as well.
There you go. Move on up. So, Adran, you're now 40 feet up, yeah? And Thía, you're also going to be 40 feet up?
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have enough movement to move into flanking?
If you dash 35, 70, yeah.
Okay, so she'll swim her way to flanking. And then attack.
Excellent. With advantage and sneak attack if you hit. He senses your approach and batters you aside with his wings. Your swing goes wild. Varin. Inside check. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure why I did that at disadvantage. I'm going to go with the 19. Adran? I'm not so sure fighting him is a good idea. Even though I pull back my bowstring. Do we want to continue? Adran's thinking, apparently. Can't read my thought. I called it up to you.
He wants to know why you think it's a bad idea.
Oh, thank you for translating. I don't think this is your typical enemy.
You could try hugging him.
Could try hugging him. So as to encourage in the face of our enemies. Alright. 2 more shots from the longbow. Both of those are gonna hit. Sorry, what, Thía?
Well, that isn't this supposed to test our mental fortitude or something like that?
Something like that. 12. Both those hit, yeah. 12. Alright. And it's now his turn. And he disappears.
Of course.
You're going to dodge, sir? Thía, what about you?
She's gonna dodge also.
Okay. Alright. You know, I just realized I actually did both a search action and attack. Right. So, that's a DM mistake. So Varin gets to take no actions this turn to reflect what should have happened previously. My bad. So, the creature is going to attack with advantage as it comes out of from invisibility right behind Varin. As soon as the character sheet complies. Oh goodness, that looks brutal. Yeah, that'll hit for, oh gosh, 45 points of damage. So, let's see if Varin can succeed on his Constitution saving throw against that. I have to be a DC of 23 rounded up. I don't think I'm gonna hold on to concentration with that. Nope! Hunter's Mark goes away. Ouch! Fair, given the fact that I accidentally cheated. And then he's going to attack me again. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that hits. For... Oh, gosh, that's ugly. 35 points of damage, and Varin disappears. And it is going to move to there. Alright, Adran. It's now your turn. Okay, you're gonna land, so to speak. Give me, real quick, what is your passive perception check? Sorry, rephrase. What is your passive wisdom perception? That's what I was trying to say. I'm clever with words. So you look down to go to land. What looked like a courtyard does still look like a courtyard, but as you look at it, you realize it's a courtyard on top of a head. The head looks somewhat like a mountain in terms of scope and size. You descend quickly to 40 feet down to the ground, to the stone floor. What would you like to do, sir? So you moved a total of 45 feet. Oh, okay. What would you like to do? Okay, what are you readying an action to do? Okay, and what is your trigger? Ah, okay. Fair enough. Alright, Thía, you're 40 feet up. You have a decent passive perception. You glance down. You do see the same mountainous head that the courtyard is apparently on top of, almost like it's a hat. What would you like to do?
Well, I guess she'll try to shoot at the thing.
Okay. You'll have to stow your sword to do so.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think you actually put your sling away before, so I'm willing to say that you've held your sling in one hand during this whole time.
So, let's see. That probably does not hit.
Yeah, you sling it away, and you hear nothing.
And she'll use her movement and bonus to be next to Adran.
Okay, so you're landing?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Let me fix your name. Okay. Top of the round. The massive statue-like being with white wings and kind of a jade stone colored type skin. He's not actually at 40 feet, my bad. He's kind of like hovering above that spectral like sea. Drops into the whispering waves. Hang on. Double check. Ah, yes. And comes up out of the stone. Did I move correctly? Yes, okay. Right next to you, Thía. Looking significantly better than before it went into the waters. I get a 31 to hit. Would you like to uncanny dodge?
Yes.
Okay. So you can uncanny dodge the slashing. I don't think you can dodge the radiant.
Probably not.
So that becomes 11 plus 17.
I'm still up.
Okay, that is 28 damage to you total, and that's with the the 22 divided by 2. And second attack. Oh goodness.
That misses.
Excellent. All right, Adran, it is now your turn, sir. Bet you're loving that huge movement speed. You are flanking. That is a miss, shockingly. There's the hit for 8 damage. Nice. That is another hit for 12. Nice. Anything else for you, sir? I believe you've already expended your action surge. Yes? Alright, Thía. What would you like to do?
Shall attack.
Excellent. You slip out your short sword once more. You have advantage to sneak attack if you hit. That's gonna hit for, wow, 33 damage. Nice. Anything else for you?
No.
Okay. In that case, it is going to vanish once more. And hear a sudden splash. Did I roll that right? Yes, I did. Alright, Adran, you're dodging. Yes, you are, Thía.
She's also going to dodge, but she's moving here also.
Fair enough. Okay, so you're both dodging, so the attack comes at normal. For Adran. Oh goodness. So that's a nat 20 hit. That is 84 points of damage to you, sir. As blade and radiant energy crash into you. How are you doing there, Adran?
How many points did it hit?
84. And then it's going to swing and attack Thía at disadvantage because of dodge. Here you go. Get a 16.
That's a miss.
Okay. Adran, it is your turn, sir. What would you like to do? Flank and attack? I think he's thinking. Yep, flank and attack. You have attack with three. You have 3 attacks with advantage. There we go. Words. That's a miss. Wings and blade are making a confusing tangle of movement. It's hard to see through. But see through it you do, as you stab into his leg for 8 damage. And again for another 7. Ouch. I believe that's it for you. Yes, sir? Alright, Thía. Attack with advantage.
Let's see if we can finish this.
Go for it. A crit.
Yeah.
Alright, give me sneak attack. And I believe it's 36 extra?
Yeah.
That is 42 points of damage. And off in the distance, one of the torches suddenly bursts apart in a static shower of sparks. And for the first time, the statue-moving creature opens its eyes and stares right down at you, Thía. It doesn't
Hi.
seem to. It doesn't seem to have taken that death blow. Instead, it vanishes from sight again. All right, Adran, what are you going to do? Thía, you had a moment of elation, and I imagine followed up with severe dread as it looks directly at you. You're disengaged from what? Do you mean you're calling? I don't understand what you're saying. Run and hide. Okay. Is that what you tell Thía to do? Alright. You're just like, move and hide somewhere. And where would you like to go, sir? To the water's edge? Ah, you're going to the torch. What are you going to do? Okay. You can use your action to do so. Give me an intelligence check. Let's go with the first result. That is a 9. It sears your flesh as you try to extinguish the spectral flames. Anything else for you, sir? Excuse me. bracing yourself with it behind your shield. All right. Thía, what would you like to do? After Adran spouts his slightly panicked command.
Well, she might as well. She'll go as far into the dark as she can.
Cool call.
And,
Ooh,
hide. So, let's see.
Give me that stealth check.
Okay. How far do I have to move to be in total darkness?
Let me check here. Sorry, Adrian, I just moved you by accident. Because I hit the wrong button. So, torches extend light 40 feet total. And there is utter darkness to the bottom left of the map for you.
So then I'll have to use all my movement to hide?
You could try just moving 35 feet with your regular movement and see where you are then.
Okay, so... $35.
You are in complete darkness.
Okay, so... Let's see how this goes.
27. Was that a result of your reliable talent? Nope, you rolled a 14.
Nope. Yep.
Excellent. 23. Oh, sorry, no, 27. My bad. I know numbers. I can recognize them even. All right. Top of the round. Eventually. There we go. Adran, please give me a dexterity saving throw.
I can't spell right now. Using inspiration points, so then I roll at advantage.
Excellent. That is not a success. You can use Indomitable at normal. As the creature bursts soaring into the air out of the water. Unfortunately, that is also not a success. A burning, brilliant column of light and fire crashes down upon you. For a total of 27 fire and radiant damage. You had 11 hit points, I believe.
Shield?
Nope. This is not an attack roll. This is a area of effect spell.
Oh. Nope, I'm done.
You blink out. And Thía, you hear massive movement towards you. What would you like to do? And I will say, let me see here. Its eyes are still locked directly on you. What would you like to do? In effect, you are not hidden.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. Well, Adran thought it was a good idea, so she's going to go ahead and try and hit one of the torches.
All right, go for it. You're shooting at it with your sling?
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me the attack roll at normal. I'm gonna say, because I really didn't expect this. Of all things, I attacked the torch. Okay. on. Pages and pages and pages. Here we go. Yep, that's a hit. Give me... No, hold on. It shatters from the force of your sling stone attack. Anything else for you, Thía?
She'll move over here on the off chance she makes it so it's easier to hit the other torches.
Off chance, I love it. Alright. The creature raises its blade to the skies above, and I need a dexterity saving throw, Thía.
Okey-doke.
That is not a success. Now that
You
means
said it's an AoE spell, right?
it is AoE. Now, because I think this is the first time this has actually come into play. Where is it? Evasion. Here it is. When your subjection effect allows you to make a dexterity saving throw, take only half. You instead take no damage if you succeed, and half damage if you fail. So you're going to take half damage from this.
Right.
Okay. Just want to double check it. As fire and radiant energy coalesces at the tip of this enormous sword and crashes down from on high on you. So you're going to take half damage, which is 14 damage.
Still up.
And then he returns his sword to into a kind of like a salute position, and moves to here. Thía, your turn.
She's going to attack this torch over here.
Go for it. That is exactly what you rolled last time, and the torch shatters, leaving yourself in nigh darkness. And what would you like to do?
Move over here so it's a little bit easier to get to that torch should I maybe possibly survive.
A voice echoes from into your mind in all languages. Bravely fought, little one. But you and your friends are not old enough yet. Close. Give me a dexterity saving throw. That's a fail. So you're going to take half damage, which is 12.
I'm out.
Yep. Your mind and body snap away, and you open your eyes in the hallway again, next to, oops, I hit the wrong button. Next to Del and Varin and Adran, as we all sit up. So I know what time it is. So I'll just, as a housekeeping note, we have exactly 0 damage on any of us.
Okay. And
So-
did we use any ammo?
No ammo expended. So reset your ammo if you used any. For those who cast spells, you did cast spells. So I was at 95 before I went into wherever that was. Adran, you're still at full 95 health. Oop, I hit the wrong buttons. My bad. There you go. And Del just kind of looks around like, I'm a little afraid to say this, but I think we just fought an angel.
And they said we are much too young still.
Varin coughs. My head hurts, and I agree.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised I lasted the longest.
I heard. Well done, Thía. Can we go back to the camp and take a nap? By the way, the torches are out, including the one Adran was carrying.
I'll pick up my torch again and relight it just in case.
Holding her to your pride. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I'd like to leave this very strange temple.
I want to see what else is in it.
Unless you want to go back and tangle with Mr. Pleasant.
We don't have to pray at any torches anymore. We can just see what's here.
Adran, what would you say is your call as to what we should do? Rest for round 2. And Del is going. Sorry, go what, Thía?
We are too young.
Dell's going to look at you rather askance, Adran. I believe the word we read right before we went there was humility. Is your pride worth returning to another beating like that, Adran?
And I have a feeling they will look at us and be like, yeah, no, and wave their hand and we're gone.
On that note, not worth it. That's Adran. Alright, so we will be leaving the temple. I assume, yes?
Yeah.
Adran, did you want to examine the map one more time as we leave the temple? Give me an intelligence check. Or, sorry, investigation check. My bad. That's a success. Roll me a d6. Several miles to the west of the temple, you pick out what might be the location of a ruins. More specifically, it seems to be marked as a ruins which contains vast lore. We will figure out exactly how far away it is from the temple next time. Thank you, fellow adventurers, for joining us once more. Please comment below to vote on what monsters you want to see Adran, Thía, and Varin take on next. You can vote for more than one kind at a time. Elephant, Ettin, Githyanki Knight, Green Slaad, Hezrou, Orc War Chief, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Thank you for watching, and I hope we'll see you again next week.